Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, April 22nd, 2022. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Preparations are on the way to welcome British royals Prince Edward and his wife Sophia, Countess of Wessex. The British royals are expected to visit the Botanical Gardens in Kingston on Saturday, April 23rd as part of the activities for the one-day visit. The day's event will include a cultural ceremony and tree planting activity to mark World Earth Day, which is celebrated today, April 22nd. It will be the second tree planting activity for Prince Edward. Back in 2012, the Earl of Wessex planted a pink poi in the center of the garden. Also in 2019, the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, planted a sophia tree, and in 2016, his son, the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, planted a bobwa tree. SVG-TV News visited the Botanical Gardens today, where preparations were well underway for tomorrow's ceremony. Administrative Officer of the Botanical Gardens, Colin Peters, said preparations started months ago and the beautification team is now putting on the finishing touches.
Our preparation started way before we knew of the visit. In February, I was asked by the Board of National Parks to supervise the Ghanus, and I just thought that I needed to pay more attention to plants personally. So my preparation started way before. So where we are now, we are at a level that we are comfortable. The Ghanus is well kept, it is cleaned, but we are just trying to revive and freshen it up a bit before the visit tomorrow. I have a lawn and maintenance crew of 17 and nursery of 5. Everybody, we came together. We brought in our beautification team, which is about 5 persons, and we came together and we work as a team. We included the beautification team so that we can, we can just lift the beauty of the Ghanus a bit out to its maximum.
Tomorrow's tree planting exercise will take place in the northern section of the gardens, where Prince Edward will plant a pink acacia tree.
The grounds and make sure that it's clean and ready for them. The stakeholders involved are like the Ministry of Culture, Education. They're going to have like cultural activities, they're going to have singing, they're going to have dancing, drumming, steel pan playing. The tree planting ceremony is just going to be at the top up to the main office, just opposite the cashew tree, and they will be planting the pink cassia. There is a tree that have clusters of flowers. At the young age, they started out red, and during the course, the flowers will just ease out to like a light pink, and it blooms between May and July.
And local lawyer and reparationist Jomo Thomas is criticizing the government of SVG for its decision to host the British royal couple, Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, and his wife Sophia, Countess of Wessex. The royals are expected to visit SVG for one day tomorrow, April 23rd, where they will meet with local entrepreneurs, craftspeople, and the youth. The visit is part of the Caribbean tour to mark Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee. Thomas told SVG-TV News that he finds it incomprehensible that the Gonsalves administration will consent to this and previous royal visits.
3 years ago, I think when Charles came here, I wrote a piece in the paper called A Reparationist Response to that visit. And my position then was that we should do, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines should have done everything in its power to squash that visit, and they could have used diplomatic niceties or whatever. That was my position then, and that was my position now. It is, in my view, incomprehensible that leaders of independent Caribbean societies in the 21st century, in the third decade of the 21st century, would still be entertaining and fetting people from the so-called royal family. They played a role in the criminal enterprise that resulted in the hunting down and kidnapping and enslavement of millions of Africans.
Thomas said the British family has shown little interest in investing in SVG, commenting on the 2009 constitutional referendum that proposed the removal of the Queen as the head of state and was rejected by 56% of Vincentians. Thomas said he is of the opinion that the mindset of the public has changed and an increased number of people are no longer in favor of the British monarchy.
Facing millions of dollars to travel across the world. But she has never done anything for Caribbean people or people who were colonized by the British. She has amassed, her family has amassed a tremendous amount of money. This month is precisely 1 year since the eruption of Last February. And after the eruption of Last February, the British government offered £200,000 to St. Vincent. It was only after the uproar and protests of other legislators in
Vincentians from grassroots organizations are expected to show their opposition to the royal visit tomorrow with a staging of street protests at different locations where the royals are scheduled to visit. Similar protests were staged in Jamaica and Belize when Prince William, Duke of Cambridge, and his wife Kate visited earlier this month. In other news now, we hear that with the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine resulting in increased fuel prices globally, commuters in SVG may soon have to pay more to travel by vans and taxis. Speaking on NBC Radio earlier this week, Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works, Montgomery Daniel, said the Omnibus Association and the Taxi Association have both expressed concern to the government about the rising fuel prices and the high cost of maintaining their vehicles.
I have had discussions with the police department as the ministry responsible, and I have advised that the Transport Board meets to review the request of the Taxi Association as well as the Minibus Association, and to advise Cabinet as to where we go from here.
Minister Daniel pointed out that the present rates charged by omnibus and taxi operators was set according to the 2018 statutory rules and orders number 3. He said in making a determination on the way forward, the Transport Board is expected to make a comparison between fuel prices in 2018 and at present.
As the minivans and the Taxi Association have indicated, I don't want to preempt much of it before the Transport Board meets. But of course, one of the areas to which I've asked is to see whether or not what was the fuel price in 2018 as against what it is now, and to use that as the starting point to which you can begin your discussion. I think it's a fair way of looking at it, where all of us would have to have the facts before us and to make the decision going forward. Of course, this lies in the hands of the Transport Board, and the Transport Board is scheduled to meet next week on this matter and then to advise the Cabinet going forward.
Farmers in the red and orange zones impacted by the explosive eruption of La Soufrière volcano are expected to receive another income support payment at the end of this month. The announcement was made on radio earlier this week by Acting Prime Minister Montgomery Daniel, who said Cabinet has already approved $2.4 million for the payment to farmers in these areas.
And I want to say to you that the payments will be done in another week and a half time or so. My understanding is just at the end of the month, the payments will be made. And so to the farmer and the farmers who are concerned, I want to let them know that the payments will be done, even though the Prime Minister is not here, that the Cabinet would have already approved those payments and will be done at around the end of this month.
Minister Daniel said that due to the increased price of fertilizers, the government has also approved and confirmed a subsidized price for fertilizers. He said government's aim is to assist farmers to continue to produce food despite the challenges being faced.
So that the government is concerned and very much aware as to the high cost of fertilizer, the rising cost of fertilizer, to the extent that we want to make sure that the farmers can afford to purchase fertilizer to the extent that we can continue to produce food here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I recall even back in 2008 when fertilizer went to as much as $140 per sack at the input warehouse because of the high fuel price that existed at around that time.
A number of students from the SVG Community College were today presented with bursaries from the Republic of China on Taiwan on its annual Human Resource Development Program. The presentation today is the first of 4 ceremonies that will be held across SVG over a week period. At the ceremony, Minister of Education and National Reconciliation Curtis King reminded the recipients of the bursaries of the importance of grabbing hold of every opportunity that presents itself and making the most of it. Minister King said although the local education system was impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano, there were many opportunities presented.
There's no doubt that the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted us significantly in terms of the education loss that we have experienced. There's no doubt that the explosive eruption of the La Soufrière volcano has impacted us significantly in terms of learning loss.
The Education Minister made mention of former student of the college, Obi McCoy, whom he said made the best of opportunities presented.
I want once again to commend our partnership with the RC. This partnership has allowed us to meet some of the needs of our education system. And a young man coming out of our very education system here, not too long ago, I speak of Obed McCoy. Over the weekend, he was put into a challenging situation, even after coming through COVID and a volcano in terms of volcanic eruption. He was placed in a difficult position to defend a meager 11 runs in the final over in what is the best known cricket competition right now around the world. And Obed came to trumps. You know why? Because he grabbed that opportunity with both hands and delivered. I am saying, just like Obed did, you too can do so. So I urge you, make use of the bursaries that you're going to receive.
Taiwan's ambassador to SVG, His Excellency Peter Shaling Lang, noted that over $100,000 was awarded today and reminds the recipients that Taiwan stands with them always.
Total of 120,000 USD will be allocated among them. I believe the intention of this program is to support students facing challenges, especially after the COVID-19 and the volcano eruption last year. So I hope that through this program we'll be able to assist students that are in great need. I will encourage the recipients today to determine to be successful, and I can assure you Taiwan will be stand by you, as I just mentioned, all the way along.
Leah Nanton of the St. Vincent Girls High School got the first place prize in the short story envoys category, age group 9 to 13 of the World Creativity and Innovation Day National Literary Arts Competition hosted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In second place was Joshua Denny of the Kingston Prep, and third place Adian Straker of the Bookament government. In the ambassadors category, age group 14 to 18 years, first place went to Ashley Francis, St. Vincent Girls High School. Second place, Kiana Simon of the SVG Community College, and third place, Jadia Sampson and Shakari Francis of the SVG Community College. In the diplomats category, age group 19 plus, Janelle Brown came out on top, with the second position going to Gian Paul Baker, Zonia Shallow, Denise Whitfield, and Raheem Hall. In the essay category, envoys age group 9 to 13, Isabella Sam of the St. Vincent Girls High School came out on top, while Jadia Sampson of the SVG Community College took the first position in the ambassadors category, age group 14 to 18, and Melanie Grant won the diplomats category, age group 19 plus. The narrative poetry category, envoys age group 9 to 13, Ariel Taylor Matthias of the St. Vincent Girls High School took first place. In the ambassadors category, age group 14 to 18, Ashley Francis of the Girls High School took the first position, and in the diplomats category, age group 19 plus went to NC Marks. In the pictorial narrative category, envoys age group 9 to 13, first place went to Annabella McMaster of Windsor Primary. In the ambassadors category, age group 14 to 18, Geneva McMaster of the Girls High School took first place, while Stephen Vera took the #1 position for the diplomats category, age group 19 plus. The winners were announced yesterday by Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Senator Kiesel Peters, as part of activities to mark the World Creativity and Innovation Day. Peters noted that there were 202 submissions in the World Creativity and Innovation Day National Literary Arts Competition, which was held under the theme Charting Resilience, Recording Recovery, in 4 categories: short story, essay, narrative, poetry, and pictorial narrative.
In the monitoring phase, the evacuation process, and the immediate relief and recovery efforts. The use of social media and new technologies to meet the needs of the vulnerable and to coordinate and collaborate epitomize how necessity is the mother of invention, and times of crisis spawn actions for positive outcomes. The recovery of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the year since the eruptions and in the future will require similar unorthodox initiatives. The linking of communities locally, regionally, and internationally is necessary to build a better, modern, post-colonial St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The utilization of information communication technologies meaningfully, engaging and harnessing the potential of Vincentians at home, and the integration of the Vincentian diaspora are important to our development. World Creativity and Innovation Day provides the opportunity to reflect, commemorate, and memorialize our resilience, and despite the volcanic eruptions, we continue to progress in new and creative ways.
Environmental activists around the world today celebrate Earth Day 2022 under the theme Invest in Our Planet. The marking of World Earth Day, first celebrated in 1970, serves as a reminder to protect the environment and restore damaged ecosystems. Here in SVG, the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority marked the event with a series of virtual activities. Former students of the Bethel High School submitted art pieces showing nature scenes from around the island. Students of the C.W. Prescott Primary School and the St. Vincent Grammar School and officials of the Ministry of Education delivered messages pledging to protect and preserve the environment. In other news now, Vaccination Week of the Americas and Caribbean 2022 will be celebrated in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from April 23rd to the 30th, commencing with a church service hosted by the Maricoa Health District on Sunday, April 25th, and end with a health fair at the Maricoa Health Complex. Supervisor of the Maricoa Health District, Sister Arlene James, outlined the week of activities that will be held under the team Developing a Healthier Community, one individual at a time.
Service at the Maricoa Gospel Hall Assembly. That service begins on April the 24th, which is Sunday coming. Day after tomorrow, it begins at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so we are using this opportunity to invite as many people as possible. We would like them to join us and to come to that service to show their support and solidarity for the health workers in Mesopotamia and the work that they have done and are doing for immunization in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in the Maricoa Health District. So on April 27th, there would be a health fair at the Maricoa Health Complex. It would be an activity where there would be, the focus would be on vaccines, yes. So you'll be talking, providing information, and also giving people the opportunity to be vaccinated.
Vaccination Week is observed annually by the Pan American Organization to give the healthcare sector and healthcare workers the opportunity to improve vaccination rates against polio, measles, rubella, and other preventable diseases that have fallen in the last 10 years under the general theme, Are You Fully Vaccinated? Get All Your Shots, and seeks to get the entire population to review vaccination schedules and to get vaccinated to be fully protected.
That was really conceived to protect the Latin Americans, because at that time the Latin Americans had an outbreak of measles. So the purpose of that at that time was to help the Latin Americans to do initiatives and to do activities to curb and contain the spread of measles at that time. Since then, the vaccination week of the Americans has grown by leaps and bounds. You had over 908 million people have been vaccinated since that time. It has a lot of objectives and specific objectives and overarching objectives. But one of the overarching objectives is to continue to create awareness of immunization and to keep it on the front burner so that people would be aware of the importance of immunization in populations, and especially now, if we never need it any time before in our lives, we need it now as we are aware of what is happening to us.